I don't want to get into it.
And ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Front yard both times.
Fucking bath towel boy over here.
Yeah, what bums me out, dude, is like you can't even like say on Twitter now or like anywhere. You can't even say jokes anywhere. They're like killing comedy. I hate it. You know,
Everyone's too damn sensitive. I mean, like Daniel Tosh.
dude.
That guy had some zingers and just the not give a fuck jokes that were just the best.
Yeah, the best. Is he still on, or what happened to that guy?
I don't know.
I don't know. I watch his reruns all the time.
Yeah, did he get
Oh, yeah.
canceled because he's too fucking spicy?
It got
bound to happen.
Yeah,
got a little rough his later seasons.
yeah.
Lots of
But there's a difference in like
Wiener.
dark humor.
Yeah.
it was his was very dark.
He like got naked all the time on his little skits, bro. It was fucking weird shit. He got weird on some of his shit, but he was funny though. Like he just didn't give a fuck. His stand-ups too. Like he was solid. And maybe that's
that
why.
thing is like dark humor is just gonna eventually fade away or be shunned because it's just hurting somebody's feelings, and it's gonna get to the point where, if it hasn't already gotten to this point, where it's going to be canceled because of that. It's like, come on, there's an audience for that. People love that and find that funny.
Yeah, bro. I mean, if there's an audience for or whatever, there's a group for everything now. There's a group for that. But what I think, I mean, one of the famous quotes, whatever. Steve, you can probably nail this better than I can. Like,
Hello.
Tough men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create tough times. Tough times create great men, or something like that, right? So
it's hard times. It's hard times create great men, or strong men. Strong men create
good times.
Yeah, easy times, and easy times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
Yep. So
it's a cycle.
Yeah, it's a cycle. Yeah, throughout history, whatever. So that being said, I think that dark humor might make a comeback sooner or later. Maybe not right now.
I hope so.
Because a bunch of weak pussy ass men around right now. You're like, I don't know, I don't like humor. I think there might be a period. Maybe we'll be a lot older, but that's one reason I really like Andrew Schultz, because he don't give a fuck. He just spits it out there and just says it. He don't give a fuck about it, any of it. I mean, he's respectful and some shit, but he just doesn't give a fuck. So it's
like learn how to take a joke, and that's the hard thing to make this day and age understand. It's like, learn how to take a joke. It doesn't have to be
not a
categorized.
Dick. Don't take it so hard.
Yeah, exactly. I bet you take that better than a joke. 1,000%.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
but it's just like, come on, lighten up.
I don't know. I feel like a sense of humor is almost like ingrained in us. Like, it makes you happy. Like, it's something that's necessary, and people like all different types of humor. So just let them have it. If you get offended, just don't watch it. Watch something else. Watch Pee Wee Herman, you sick fucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. People with anything.
Yeah, I love Pee Wee Herman. All right.
Oh yeah, that was Pee Wee too. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, if I'm the type of dude who's just like, if I don't like something, I'm gonna change the channel. I'm not gonna be like, this shit. Give me the phone. Come on. Bring it here.
The comment section?
Yep.
I'm
bring it here. Oh yeah, we're going hard on this. No, you just fucking change the channel and you fucking scoot on. Find something you like.
I mean, Josh, are you very active on social media?
No, not at all.
Neither are you, Brad, right?
I don't even have Facebook.
I think that's the difference.
I don't have Instagram.
I think that's different. None of us have social media.
Yeah.
Or active in social media. And we're the
Yeah.
Everybody else, the ones that seem to be the trend, the follow culture, is all those that are so wrapped up in social media.
Yeah, it's because like you leave a
You can
comment and then you
find
just
1,000
snowball from
people
that.
to validate you. You
Yeah,
know,
you're looking for
Um,
validation,
yeah,
and then you find your allies, and then it becomes
we're
an
strong
issue.
because there's 100
Yeah,
of us.
becomes stupid, and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden you find all this confidence and start voicing your opinion, even when it is just
which
a stupid, like,
yeah,
even if it was just a thought at the time, you put it down and you just say something, and so many people just snowball off it, and then there's so many like sub replies to everybody talking, and just it just turns
uh-huh,
into like an argument for the sense of arguing.
yeah,
It got bad when you were able to like a comment. When
yeah,
that started, it just made the trolls go wild. Like the crowd was just cheering for him, and they were like, "Oh, that's the
yeah.
best comment! Yeah, you got
Oh,
fucking all these likes." So they don't even give a
trolls gone
fuck
wild.
anymore. Oh yeah, they're just a little bunch of thumb gangsters. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna get you on my phone. Well, motherfucker, if you met him in the street, you probably wouldn't say that shit.
Oh, but they would type back strongly, like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah,
what
all caps.
you're that strong? Well, guess what? I've been, teaching Taekwondo for 85 years. I'm only
Hey,
25."
Yeah.
I just dealt with a dude like that. Text me 27 fucking times in
Yeah.
one night
Oh yeah, held down
about
his
a
shift button.
bully.
Oh, he held down
Yeah.
his shift button, all caps.
Just call him
Oh,
shift.
27 fucking times.
Caps lock on. 27 times about a bully. Yeah, I remember you told me about that. About he was just sending, oh man, this guy's bullying me. You better do something about it, Steve.
But don't tell him I told you. I don't want it to get worse.
Oh man, he DM'd you.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I wanted to get way worse for me.
Prepaid
man.
phone.
Yeah, why don't you tell
Please
him
yell-
that?
please yell at this guy.
Yeah, have a conversation with that guy. You
He
know?
was not.
Seriously.
He was not expecting that the next morning.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
No.
me 27 times last night. I think you're a fucking coward.
yeah, bro. That's what people need though. Like all these people online doing this shit in the comment section, they need told the same thing. I think you're a coward.
Oh, they do.
And
They are. They,
quit it and just let people post whatever. If you don't like it, scoot. You know?
yeah.
I mean,
Well-
if it's like terrible shit, like, little pedo boys, then,
Yeah.
maybe say something like, hey, get this motherfucker out.
Yeah.
But if it's just like, hey, something you disagree with, then,
Have you seen that Joe Rogan clip of the one guy like talking about how he was being bullied and just started going off saying, "Well, if someone tried to bully me now, like I'd go to his house and fucking kill him." And they're
Yep.
just like, whatever. And he's like, see, that's the problem is that you've hung around people that let you talk like that. That
Yep.
is just, yeah. And
we
it's so
talk
true,
like
though.
that.
Yeah, it's so true because that is literally the comment section.
Yeah.
He went off like he was typing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill this dude. No, you're not.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I feel like that's where good friends come in. They call you out
Yeah.
on your shit. They're like, no, you're not.
Yeah, quit
No,
being
you're
dumb.
not. Yeah.
Knock it off.
Yeah. I mean, you got to say something. If you're like a good friend to somebody, you're probably going to tell them. Like, if it's something harmless, whatever, yeah, laugh it off. Maybe poke a little fun. But if it's something like you're being stupid like that shit, like if you guys were going off on social media all the time, I'd be like, dude, listen, stop.
Yeah.
Stop before I give you a wedgie, bro. Stop.
Oh, you're not gonna do that.
Oh, yeah. Turn around, put your nose in the corner.
Oh, I fucking dare you.
You know, like I feel like you need people to fucking say shit or call you out or something. Maybe they need that. Maybe they need better friends. Maybe that's what these trolls need.
Or
Something.
a friend.
Or a friend.
Yeah. Well, just human interaction.
I mean, sometimes I feel bad for them because I'm like, you ain't got no friends and you hate your life, so you're going to take it out on everyone on social media. But at the same time, grow the fuck up.
Oh, they're whooping ass on social media, though.
Oh,
I mean, their
yeah.
comments are fuego. They never lost.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, they're fucking dad's yelling down the stairs, you fucking pile of shit, go get a job. I'm sick of taking care of you for 27 goddamn years.
Oh, yeah, but
No,
that kid
that's the problem.
typed out a message.
Dad's
Fuck you.
never said that to him.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
their dads. They're
What-
I
what
mean,
They're
What dad?
gone. I went to go get milk and never came back.
yeah.
Never came back.
Still
I
had
was doing
some
something
milk.
stupid. My dad if I was doing something stupid, my dad would kick the shit out. Not literally, but he would.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, dumb
Seriously.
shit.
Oh,
It's weird. We're seeing those times go away from us, and you
Yeah.
can tell. Like, you can tell that they're not the same in just one generation.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that little quote's probably right. It gets easier.
But
My dad
It
always
is.
told me, he was like, well, I'm not as hard as, on you as my dad was on me. He said that
exactly.
all growing up. He's like, my dad whooped my ass all the time. I don't whoop your ass as much. So if their dad never whooped their ass, I mean, just picture that trickling down. Now they're like, oh, little Johnny, you want to punch me in my face and color on the walls? Oh, well, please don't do that. No, little
Yeah.
Johnny, go to your fucking goddamn room before I whoop that ass. And don't fucking touch me and don't quit coloring on the goddamn walls. Like.
That's the generation that you see shoving a cell phone in someone's face. And nothing is better than those
To shut
videos.
him up, though. Just shut him up. Oh, yeah, I can't take it. Oh, yeah.
Nothing's better when you see the videos of someone shoving a cell phone in their face and them getting a little dose of reality. You can't do that to everybody just because you see it and that's what you think is going to protect you, and then you get your fucking ass whooped or your ass handed to you. It's like everyone watching that is like so happy that happened, and you thought that was going to protect you.
Yeah.
Crazy times, man. Crazy times. I hope it gets a little bit better because I hate seeing it. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like trying not to pay attention so much to shit like that because all it does is make me boil. Like I just get furious. I'm like, really? We're gonna let this shit happen?
But you've witnessed it. You've witnessed the transition, downfall into it turning into what it is. Like, what's it going to take for it to go back? I don't think there's going back.
Well, I think the only way to improve it is to be the example.
Yes.
Everybody.
100%. 100%. Everyone has to. I think people are too many cowards. But one of my favorite quotes of all time is it's always dark is just before the dawn.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. But I think it will get better. Good always rises up against evil.
Any other saying?
I mean, I got plenty, bro. Don't get me started. I'll go on a roll.
You're on sayings.com right now.
Bullshit. It's all up here. I'm in the sayings.com in my head. But I don't know. I think it will eventually get better, but I don't think it's going to happen for a long time. I think people are too scared. Like you're saying, Steve, you got to be the example, but if only, 5 out of 100 people try to set the example and then like one of them actually speaks out about it. I mean, that's one of the reasons I want to do this podcast, speak out about it. So people listen. I know I like Andy. That's why he speaks out about it. Andy Frisella. He don't give a fuck, but I mean, something's got to change though. And I think it all starts with being aware. Like your awareness has got to go up. Like you got to be aware of your surroundings. You got to be aware of like what your actions are going to do. Yeah, maybe in the moment you're like, oh, well, if I just, if I'm too nice, maybe he'll stop. Maybe he fucking won't. Maybe he'll be a shithead the rest of his life. And maybe he'll get picked on later on in school because you brought him up to be a shithead. And then what? You're going to go call up the principal because, my son's getting bullied. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been a shitty parent and taught your kid to be a shithead, and now you get punched in his goddamn face.
So, Steve, you're a parent as well.
I went off.
So, I mean, I feel like you have a pretty good viewpoint and similar viewpoint as I do. How do you change that, like in your parenting? Are you resembling what your parents brought you up as, or are you adjusting with the new day and age? Like that's the big shift in the balance.
I think the values have to be the same, but the tactics and the way you go about everything adapts, right?
Mhm.
But the value that the values that I remember my, parents instilling in me was working hard, uh, putting in effort for the things you did. You went in full go. If you started a sport, you played this. You didn't quit halfway through. You didn't, you know, um, and then being family. And I think that you like now. I know. I mean, Tommy plays video games more than I probably did at his age, but then again, the availability is so different.
Yeah, we still play video games.
Yeah, exactly.
Video
So,
games are a lot better now. So
yeah,
True.
I think that what has to the example has to come from your values,
Yeah.
and you need to show them what good values are. Like something that I make Tommy do and I mean Emma when she starts being able to read as well. But I mean Tommy has to read so much a day.
good.
He has to.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, I do that.
Yep.
Mhm.
And there's times where we read together. Because I think that's a huge thing is that you look at how many guys that we know could not read a difficult sentence.
Probably a lot. I mean,
Struggle.
there's dudes who
Not difficult like a difficult sentence, but a sentence that with words that could mean multiple things, and you have to use the
Double
context
entendre.
to
to figure
understand
out
the
what
meaning
they're saying. Yep. The true meaning.
how
Okay.
how many of them could really understand
Probably
what
not like
the
tons.
reading comprehension?
I mean,
And I think that drives education, but and not schooling education, but education.
Yeah,
There's a
big
huge
difference.
difference in education and schooling,
yeah,
and
bro.
so I
Like,
think being educated and sharing your values and making them keep those good habits
But it's a big
is
responsibility,
my view of it. Yeah.
yeah,
because without that, those values are going to go away. But at the same time, you have to adapt to
Yeah.
the day and age and
Yes.
the new problems that are not problems. They weren't problems when you were a kid.
Exactly.
They're absolutely problems now, and because you don't see them as problems because they didn't exist. And
Yeah.
even if they did exist back then, like you're
You
now
understand.
viewing these new problems as an adult.
But that's
So
it.
you
I
can
don't
comprehend them the
think
same.
the problems have changed too much. I think we still deal with the same kind of problems. It's just in a different way.
yep.
Until
I think you're right.
That's
I would say
for
like
everything.
The same
yeah,
like core
in
problems.
general.
Yeah. I'll agree with that one.
But
Yeah.
I will disagree in a sense of
Oh shit!
I already have a feeling when my kids become like teenage years and get on the social media, that's not a problem I had to deal with as
Yeah.
a high
That's the
schooler or
dopamine
even
dump.
a teenager.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
So that's going to bring a problem, and something that I never had to deal with, but I'm going to have to deal with it shortly when they deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with
Well, I
that.
mean,
But I think I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but I was thinking he's talking about like bullying went from like bullying in your face to like cyberbullying, like still the same problem, but like just different times.
Yeah, but
I think that's what he's
cyberbullying
trying to say.
is more kids who are growing up are more susceptible to taking the comment section
yeah,
to heart. When physical bullying was in your face during school hours, there was little windows that it could happen. This can
yeah,
happen at all times, anytime. You can, and it's there printed, so you can continuously read it over and over and
yeah.
have it hammer home in a
You,
bullying sense that they're going to take it, more.
So it's a similar problem that's just been magnified.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's blown up.
Do you guys have a solution for that for your kids?
Well, I wonder. I mean, I debate myself if I mean, it's hard to not allow them to be on social media, but
Mhm.
Yeah,
I kind
the
of want to say
dopamine
I'm
dump
not,
alone is
like I
detrimental.
kind of want to say you're not going to be on social media.
Yeah, that's so. Ben Shapiro and Joe Rogan kind of talked about that a little bit. It's kind of like kind of like
Then you,
having like the bishop's daughter or whatever. Or like
yeah,
you can't have them do anything. I mean, I don't want any part of that or kids or anything. But I mean, if you're not on it, you're gonna be so curious, and then you might rebel. And so it's a tough one. I think
yeah,
it might just come down to like limited stuff or something because the dopamine dump isn't good for your brain when you're that young to just dump all the time and get likes and cons. It's not good as an
Mhm.
adult. I mean, you see how people are addicted, but as a kid, it's got to be terrible for you. Not like a neuroscientist or anything, but
yeah.
it's
I
got to
mean,
be fucking terrible. But
But
as for the bullying part, listen, I don't have any kids or anything, but I want to hear your guys' opinion on this. The thing that I think will, I don't know, that I'm at least in my mind right now, in the state I'm in, I'm gonna teach my kid coming up on that is to how to combat that is just make fun of yourself and just be okay making fun of yourself, poking fun. Because when you do
Yeah,
that, it's defensive and kids don't want to bully you or do anything like that. They just are like, oh, well, he stole my joke or, oh, he's already making fun of it. He's comfortable with himself, so I don't want to pick on him. I think that's the way I think to combat it. Thoughts?
one of the things that I notice that I do is I compare a lot to like my upbringing and what I did and how I wouldn't allow my kids to do the shit that I did. No way. There's no way I would allow them to go ride their
Really?
bike off until, you know, sun goes
yeah,
down and that's when you're supposed to go home. And that's just the way times are changing.
Yeah, sign of the times.
But at the same time, that was a freedom that I had. And if I didn't have that freedom, I don't know how I would have reacted. So, in a sense, having social media and all that is a freedom that they're going to kind of resemble to being able to ride their bikes and go do their own thing and not be micromanaged and whatnot. Like, and it's kind of like a parallel. Just
Yeah.
you have to let them have that, or else they are going to go bishop's daughter, like you said,
Yep.
rebel,
mhm,
Yeah.
and
But did you have like a curfew that you had to be home?
um, lights out, pretty much.
Yeah, same.
It
There
was
might
just,
have to be something like that with social media, maybe.
but
maybe.
yes,
Yeah.
but
You grew
lights
up in
out.
Utah, Josh. Remember playing night games?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I went
Fuck
over to
yeah.
Simmons Park all the time and
Yeah,
just went and did my thing. But
That
I
games are
also
fun.
wasn't a phone call away because we didn't even have a cell phone. So I was just
exactly.
home when I got home and I had to, I had to weigh the consequences. Well, I could stay a little bit longer, but I'm going to get my ass whipped. But at least I'm not going to get yelled at this moment in time.
Yep.
And those are the risks like that I just went through.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
also when your neighbors are so friendly and shit. You guys remember that?
almost,
And
yeah,
Like like everyone in your neighborhood knew each other and everyone was pals. So you played, night games with like your neighbor kids, like.
It allows you to make your own decisions.
Grew up on a house or a street with fucking 6 houses on it.
Yeah. True. So you didn't play.
My kids are growing up on a street with fucking 40 houses on it.
Yeah. So sign of the times.
Not only that, but when your kids have cell phones, they're growing up in a neighborhood with 40 houses on it, but they're also at access to people that are endless on the internet. Yeah. So many people that are outside influences that you have to worry about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see, and you'll see it too, but you'll notice like the difference between eras. It's not the same. So you can't apply the same sensibilities to the situation.
Yeah, it's uncharted area for sure for like young kids.
But it's hard when it comes to parenting because you can't apply that to it.
Yeah.
So you can't expect them to live the way you lived.
No, but that's why I kind of want to hear your thoughts on these guys too. But that's why, like, I realize all this stuff, and my only thing that I can come up with it is, puts everything else aside because I know, like my grandpa era was different than my dad's era. Mm-hmm. Like, they were in fucking horse and buggy, and then my dad's era, middles, 80s hair bands, and, it was just a lot different. And then, our era is different, but that's why I think that, I don't know, the only thing I can think of is just, teach your kid humility and make fun of yourself and, combat that shit and be a good person. And because you can't predict anything. I mean, fuck, cell phones and like you're saying, pedos around the fucking corner, red dots everywhere.
Yeah, our era between like us now, early 90s to now having children is the biggest technological change. Yeah. So we're in a different segue. Like that's where you see the difference in how kids are being raised and how kids turn out.
Yep.
Because things change so much. And so as parents, like it's really hard to adapt to that because we have old school ways in a sense, even though we were part of that. I mean, we shifted with technology. So we understand like what it was like before and what it was like after. We're the rare generation that knows the before and after. Yeah. They don't know the before.
Yeah, so bridging the gap.
You apply those sensibilities to someone that doesn't know before, and you're just a grump. You're just a tyrant that just wants to control. So you have to try and find that separation. And that's what I am not looking forward to the teenage years. And because right now my kids have phones. We mainly got them phones for tracking purposes. So when they went and played in the park,
like the gizmos.
They're iPhones, but they're not like, they're just very basic iPhones.
Okay. Yeah, Steve, I don't know. You're kind of muffled. I mean, I don't know if you don't mind. Maybe scoot up when you chat, or you can lean back when you're not. But
there
you go, nice.
Like the gizmos, they're like little watches that are phones. That's what my kids have.
Like Apple Watch?
We don't have those. They're actual phones, but they're like iPhone S's or something.
Like an Apple Watch?
It's not a watch, but it's just like a dumbed down version of a phone. So anything they do has to go through, Apple ID, and we have to confirm everything. But it gives them ability to text, call, and we can track their location. So it's very basic, but it's a Facebook? Peace of mind. I think it can, but we have to approve it.
Yeah, don't approve that shit.
Fuck no.
In my opinion, not until you're older. I mean, we didn't. I mean, I don't know. We got cell phones when we were high school. Yeah. I mean, Facebook didn't come around until like, we were in
after high school
college
for me.
Or whatever,
Yeah,
so.
I got a phone when I was a sophomore.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was a junior when I ended up getting my first phone, and
It
it
was a
wasn't.
brick.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. You used to
I
throw
played
that
Snake.
shit at everything, bro. You used to bounce
Yeah,
off the trampoline and fucking.
You'd hammer nails with it.
Oh yeah, he did too.
I used to drop it out of the car while we were driving.
For fun.
Yeah, exactly. And it'd be fine though.
For fun, and be like, oh yeah, this thing, it's fine.
Yeah, dude, it never fucking died.
Oh yeah, things made out of fucking adamantium.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know if Wolverine's.
But that's the hard part. It's like how there's no book on how to transition from that type of technology change and how cyberbullying and all that shit is a real thing. And you get these clicks and posted this on Facebook. Like, how are you going to approach that as a parent when someone that they never talk to on a day-to-day basis, but they know of them, say something mean to him on Facebook and it affects him? You can't just say, hey, that's not real, because it is real.
Yeah.
What if you make fun of yourself?
I make fun of myself all the time. Look at me.
I know, but then how many people make fun of you?
I mean, look at me.
Right? But what I'm saying, though, is, I mean, if some punk-ass little thumb gangster's on there, and he's like, oh, yeah, fucking, you guys see Billy today? Look like a damn fool. And he's like, ha ha, yeah. You know, my whitey tighties were showing and everything. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, but that's you 32 years later.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, though, is that something you were able to teach your kids?
Not a
No,
they
they don't.
10, 11, 12-year-old
not
mind. They don't
comprehend.
think of it that way. No.
Yeah,
They'll not be able to take that the same way. No way.
There's no way to teach them that, though? I mean, like...
No, not unless it's a goddamn Marine. Like, you can't teach a kid that same mindset and have it applied the same way that I feel like you are thinking of it.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm thinking of it as like, you know, I mean, maybe not like a sport or anything, but like if you do it as a parent, kids are smart. They pick up on your habits. They want to be just like you, whatever. If you do it, maybe they'll do it, you know. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'll say this. So in that same aspect, because I can kind of follow where you're going.
Okay.
And you want to set an example in a sense.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a do as I do. You're doing it as a much more experienced person in life and an older person, so that if they try and keep up and can't do it and can't think of it the same way, they're not going to want to show you that they can't keep up. So they're just going to sit there and struggle without showing you, because that's what you're instilling in them. And so they view it, I guarantee they will view it as like a don't want to let you down type of thing, even though they're just dying inside and can't view it the same way you do. So then you become the person that they can't talk to about it, because it's almost letting you down.
Okay.
So
what do? Do you teach them fucking witty comebacks? Because I'll fucking teach all y'all kids a bunch of fucking witty comebacks and punk out these little fucking dweebs.
You gotta let them. You gotta teach them that you don't have it all together. You're also vulnerable. You're also weak, so that when they feel that way, they can come and talk to you about it.
Yeah, but how does that stop the bully though? The bully situation doesn't go away. That's what we're talking about, right? Like,
yeah,
cyber.
There's no perfect answer, but the last thing you want is for them to go through that alone. When they can come to you and talk to you about it, and you can figure it out together. I mean, you can't just mold them to take on life and figure it out, because then I mean, what's the end game? In a perfect scenario, yeah, you did the perfect thing, and they never have to come to you for advice because you've already taught it throughout life.
Yeah, because your kid's a bully. No, I'm just kidding. No, I hear what you're saying. No, that's awesome answer. I really like that. I was just saying, so like say you do that stuff, right? You make it open for your kid to come talk to you, like it's a open thing, and you feel like he comes to you as much as I don't know, that you're aware of, so to speak. Like besides that point, he might come talk to you, whatever. But like, I guess I'm saying like, what way is the better way to approach it? To like, I mean, you guys are saying you can't teach your kid like humility or to like make fun of himself. Okay, then what do? You teach him to fight, to go smack that bully right in his fucking goddamn mouth, tell him to fucking shut his shit up before he.
You're asking $1 million questions that is literally just figure it out as you go.
Okay.
Because your kid's personality is going to kind of dictate which way you approach that.
Okay. You guys don't have to answer. Which ways do you guys do? Do you guys have to deal with that right now, like day to day?
Oh yeah.
Currently, like.
Absolutely.
All right. Is your kid the bully or being bullied?
Well, so I mean, I got a boy and a girl, and my girl's problems I can't fully relate to, but I try and understand.
Yeah.
But she's not at that point where she's like fully comfortable telling me all of it, because I am the dad figure. So her problems that she says to me, and she actually talked a little bit to me today on just like her friendships. Like she has one friend that comes over after school, but they don't hang out at school. And when she was telling me why, it was just little friendships that happen at school.
A click.
Little clicks. And
girls are
one friend
tough, bro. Girls are catty as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's
a tough one. All right, I was talking about strictly your son. Your son. I was talking about strictly your son. That's a different ball game. I don't know what to do about that. I mean, that's just women are catty. Teach her that.
Let's just hopefully teach her to be a caddy.
Oh yeah, no,
pick the clubs.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Women are catty.
Tell me the win.
Pick out your club. Go whoop her ass.
But those are sensibilities that you have to constantly weigh as a parent, and it's hard to know which way to go with the information they give you, because you can't believe their information fully. You can take it in, but you also have to try and decipher it, like what they're actually saying. But you can't just go straight up and tell them, well, pop him in the fucking nose, because that's what he gets.
That's what my dad taught me.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to come around and say, that those are different times.
I mean, that's true.
Not saying the core value there doesn't stand, but
stand up for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, there's always that lesson, but you can't approach it the same way that you had been taught, like mirror image. And that's why that's why it's gonna constantly be next week could be different. Go through some shit next week that you prepared for, and you just have to on the fly try and figure out what exactly is going on and figure it out, because they're looking up to you to figure it out.
Yeah.
Also, let them figure it out as well, because they need to in certain situations. You can only just kind of guide them. They gotta actually drive the car, figure it out.
Yeah, bro, you nailed it there. That last little tiny sentence, you nailed it. I mean, from what I've learned from life. Yeah, that boy. What I've learned from life is, I mean, it's never an easy road. It's never going to be an easy road. Nobody has it figured out. So, I guess what I'm picking up from what you guys are kind of saying here is, there's not a right, perfect way to I don't know, raise your kid, so to speak. And I agree 100%. I think that's some great points. And all you can really do, in my mind, is just do your thing, do the best you can. Because, no matter if you're the perfect parent, I think, there's a chance that you could get bullied at school or online or whatever. or grow up to be a shithead, or who knows, an addict or whatever behavior. Like there's not anything, but I guess probably the biggest thing I picked up from what you're saying, P, is just be there for your kid and build that relationship, like that open relationship where they can talk to you. At least you figured out when they're at that crossroad, and whether it's perfect or not, at least you can be there, and at least it's open, because what it sounds like, it's just a dealer's choice.
You're in less control than you would like to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
as a parent.
100%.
I mean, shit, I'm in less control of my life than I want to be.
Keep her tuned, buddy.
So I can only imagine your kids. So
Yeah.
You have to be adaptable and just understand that you have an idea of
I know how
what
to
you
audible.
want. Well, you better fucking
Omaha. Omaha.
It better be Buffalo.
Oh,
Because
shit.
they're gonna throw some shit at you that you can't relate to. But it's a big deal to them. So you can't let them know that it doesn't make sense to you, but you can't let them know that. You have to let them know that you're going to listen to what they got to say, because you're the adult. You got to figure it out. They're telling you raw emotion, what they feel. You're the one that's responsible to dissect it and try and make sense of it.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to them,
yeah.
but
so
you can't just be like, well, that's stupid. That's dumb, because they're not going to come back to you and talk to you about that thing ever again. And they'll probably pick apart that memory later on in their life and be like, well, this is how much of a dick my dad was.
Yeah. Be a big moment for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. But
I mean, how many moments do you have when you're 8, 9, 10 that are just little blips that just...
I mean, probably more than you think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially at that day and age, like this time when the kids are reaching that level that they're starting to get find their own way and become their own person. They're outside of you. You're molding them.
Yeah.
Like they're doing their own shit. And then they come to you with something and you shut it down. That's going to affect them. Like,
oh yeah, it does all day. I mean, I don't know if you guys can relate, but like, toughen up. That was total lot. I mean, sometimes it probably wasn't like relevant at the time, but you're just told that.
It worked for you.
Yeah.
No, I can backfire.
You can what?
That can backfire, like with kids. Telling them to toughen up, they don't see it as you giving them encouragement. They see it as you telling them that they're not good enough.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they fall back even further. They get even softer. They,
never be good enough.
Yeah, and then they start building that resentment.
I've had to rethink the way that I parented my daughter on those same guidelines, because I was on the aspect of like, oh, you shouldn't be crying. Like, why are you crying? Like, there's no reason to cry. Knock it off. And I said that a few times, and it ended up turning into a situation where I just had to step back and realize, like, you're viewing this as how you were raised and how you would approach the situation, or even how my son would approach it. But you're not my son, you're my daughter. So you have to end up living in her and hearing her out, because even though it doesn't make sense to you, you have to listen, and you have to be there to listen to the next story, because if you do that and you tell her to toughen up, she might not tell you the next story, and then you're missing out on more parenting opportunities.
Yes. Then they start hiding things. Yeah.
Yeah, because is that like a sense of shame?
Probably. It's a sense of disappointment.
Oh, they don't want to feel that disappointment from you, so they hide it. Okay. But I do have a question for you guys. I think it's a good one.
Let's go.
So Um, what is a piece of advice that you wish your parents told you? And is that relevant today? Could you tell that same advice to your kids?
Let's
Ooh.
see.
I know, it's a
So
good one.
it's tough because it goes back to the
I would just start with the first one then, I guess. Just start with like, what's a piece of advice you wish your parents told you? You know, that would have helped your life out, would have made it better or easier, you know, that you had to learn the hard way from, that might have made it a little bit easier if they would have just told it to you or whatever.
I kind of wish my parents would have told me, but at the same time, it's like as a kid, would I absorb it? But I wish they would have told me, like, don't judge me on my mistakes right now because you'll see one day that I don't have it all together.
Yeah.
Because you view your parents as they got shit figured out. They're your role models. They're the ones in charge for your whole life.
Yeah.
And then now, when I look back how old I am now, 32, and think of my parents at 32, I was 12 years old. And I'm just like, my kid's not even 12. And I don't have my shit figured out. But I'm trying and I'm working on it. And I'm just going through the motions of life trying to figure it out as well. So it's like you don't want to ruin that image of yourself as being like the adult that's got it all figured out. But at the same time, it's like, give me a little wiggle room. I'm going to fuck up. I'm not going to be the best. And I go through emotions just like you go through emotions. So don't hold it against me.
Okay.
Because that's a hard one.
Oh,
Because
it's a tough one. Would you tell that to your kid, and if so, what age?
I've had pretty. I mean, I've went through a decent amount in my life up to this point. I mean, especially with my kids, I've had a similar conversation to them, and I've let them in, letting them know that you know, I make mistakes. I think that's a big one too because it shows them that it's okay to make mistakes because even dad makes mistakes. So
Yeah.
that's not going to define them, ruin what they have going on. So I would say I've already had that conversation with, but not in the greatest sense. I mean, because like I was going back to before, it's different eras.
Yep.
The toughness and the parenting is different back then what it is to now. In the adjustment period, I feel like I've done a decent job of not crossing the boundary of I'm your friend. I'm still your parent. So, but I will let you know that I don't have my shit together and I'm here for you, but I'm in charge. I'm the boss. You do what I say still.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of parents they had kind of a gray line on that one. I see it a lot in parents, like they want to be too much of their friend and not their parent. And you know they lose the kid in the fact of like they lose the discipline factor, or they don't take him as serious. But we won't touch too much on that. Steve, what do you got?
For me, I wish I would have found out earlier, I guess, and it would have been great advice, is to not rush through it all.
That's good shit.
Like
Elaborate a little
the
bit.
stage, well, yeah, the stages. Like, I mean, I couldn't wait. It seemed like, I was always
To turn
like,
21 to drink
man,
beer.
no, like it'll be great when Tommy's talking.
Oh,
I can understand it better. It'll be great when they can, run on their own and go outside and play.
So like live in the
It'll be
moment
great.
type shit.
So, yes, that and that with every new thing they do, like, okay, Riley is no longer, in diapers. Well, and like, yeah, that's great, but at the same time, like, I'm never gonna experience that again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's deep
So
stuff.
at some point, you're gonna do something. Like at some point, me picking up Riley or Emma or whatever will be the last time that I pick them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
County, I mean, I get a little shit in a year. I won't be able to pick them up.
Yeah, that's a fucking hard hitter, Steve. Fuck.
So it's to me, it's don't rush through it all. Don't constantly wait for the next thing of the next stage to happen, because as each one goes, it's the last time it's ever going to be that way.
That's such wise words, man. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard like not the exact thing, but like I mean, you
Yeah,
talk about like great speakers and stuff. They talk about that stuff, like enjoy the moments. I believe Jordan Peterson said like he wishes he enjoyed like the mundane stuff like more in his life, and I think that's what he was referring to is stuff.
yeah,
You know, like you're
yeah.
talking
Like
about.
the sitting, laying on the floor, eating popcorn and watching movies. Pretty
Them
soon,
wanting to run up and hug
yeah,
you and snuggle on you.
yes,
It's going
yes.
away,
Pretty
man.
soon, it's all going to be gone.
Yeah. My
And
my kids are, I mean, they're about to turn 9, and like whenever I have my son, I'm just like, come here, cuddle me. And he's down to do it, but I know like it's probably like a year or two away from being like, no, dad, I don't, come on,
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
to do that. And it's just like,
I go to my friend's house. Yeah,
yeah, and it's gonna be
yeah,
gone. And then those are the times that you're just gonna be like, you remember when you used to come up and want to hug your dad? Now you just want to arm wrestle.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, man, that's a great advice, man. I feel like that's something every single person can relate to or learn from, or just take your words in and just soak it in because I don't have any kids myself yet. One's on the way, but like I haven't experienced that, but I know that that's a true thing because I know there's so many times you just miss regular shit in the day that you're like, man, I miss some of that stuff. I wish I would have paid more attention or gave a shit about some of that. I mean, you could even relate it to like grandparents or people losing parents or siblings or
mhm.
whatever. Like you can relate in general. So I mean, I imagine it's even more with kids, and
yeah,
that's you know, man,
The
fucking
crazy thing is like you
bravo.
watch the whole transition of it too, so you remember fully what they were like
yeah,
when it was
yeah.
that way. And then
Hmm.
you watch them grow and you're excited for them to grow, and you look forward to those milestones,
But you
and
also
you're
miss.
yeah, you miss it, and then it's gone. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, for the longest time your kid's not walking, and then he's walking, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden you can't control him, and you're setting barriers, and you're trying to set all these little cages for him that you can't walk past, and then next thing you know, boom, he's in pre-K.
yep,
He's mingling with other kids when it was just like your guys. Then it turns into, oh, you're going to school, so now you start to think about like, oh, so
Cyberbullying.
who are you getting involved with? Like, who's your
yeah,
friend, all this stuff. And the next thing you know, it's like, holy shit, what is 12 times 12 when he hits one, or you can even think of what 12 times 12 is. It's like, what is going on? It happens fast, and it's hard to not let it happen fast. But if there's a way to slow it down and just appreciate it, it would be great. but you have to be in that moment to know that you're appreciating it.
Yeah. I mean, that just, I think that just goes back to like awareness and like being conscious of the moment, which is, I think, one of the toughest things to do is be conscious in the moment and not, because we're so used to thinking on, I mean, at least me, like thinking on your feet or adapting to the situation. Like, you know, things get thrown at you all the time in life. And it's, you know, if you don't think on your feet, you're not quick and, you know, be able to react in a good, positive way and try to make the right decisions that, you know, will benefit you. If you're doing that all the time and that's normal life, it's hard to just live in the moment and just be like, oh, I'm happy I'm here. And, you know, that's why I have to force myself to listen to, it's actually a Steve Harvey quote. I have to, you know, I try to listen to it every week. If not, I do it at least, you know, monthly or whatever. But like, he just says, be grateful for everything you got. And he just says, think of all the things that you're grateful for. For one, it relieves like your stress, your anxiety. You actually, it takes away a lot of anger, a lot of resentment when you're grateful. When you're like, hey, I'm grateful I can see. I'm grateful I can walk. You know, I'm grateful I have a car to go to work. I'm grateful that I have the house that I live in. And, you know, be just pointing out like all the little things, and it's hard to, you know, be in a shitty spot or, you know, as shitty a spot. It'll try to bring you out. So that's one thing I try to do, and again, not perfect. But I think that's one way to like ground yourself into being more present in the moment. Because, I mean, the world moves so fucking fast these days. I mean, Jesus. You know?
Well, it's very easy to think of like every day-to-day situation becoming a burden, especially with a newborn and, you know, an infant. It becomes like okay, now I got to deal with this. I got to deal with the crying baby. I got to deal with the diapers. So you just sit there and view it as like a burden, shit that's happening, and you have to put up with it. And it takes away from being able to really appreciate those moments, because the moments that they, you know, just lay on your chest and fall asleep, those are kind of overshadowed with your day to day. Like you view it as like a break, like thank God, instead of viewing it as just like this is it. Like this is the moment I need to fully take in, because it'll happen, and it's just part of life. I think we just get so wound up in the overcoming and the difficulties of it that nobody takes time to stop and appreciate it, because it's hard to, you usually appreciate it once it's done and over with, and you look back, and that's when you appreciate it. I mean, it'd be a fucking gift if you could just sit there and appreciate it in the moment and understood it, because a lot of times you're thinking of how to overcome this moment and how to get by. So, I mean, if someone can find out that formula to just really just take it in, they'd have it figured out. But that's not. That's
Nah.
just not. That's not how it happened for me.
Nah, not at all. But my my thing is actually, oddly enough, it's kind of what you said. Is I kind of wish that, you know, somebody, you know, told me like, you don't have to have it all figured out. Like, it's okay to not have your life figured out by the time you're, you know, 22, because there's so many times these days, or, you know, even in the past, like you're going along high school, college, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna get married by this age, and I'm gonna have kids by this age. And then when that doesn't happen, you were like then you like doubt yourself a little bit, and you're like, well, fuck, I don't have it figured out. Like what's going on? You know, everyone else has it figured out, and like then you just rethink so many things and second guess things, and it, you know, it makes it real tough on you. And and you'd really try to figure things out, or maybe it's a good thing to, because I went and tried a bunch of different things, but I think it would have been so much easier on me, and I wouldn't have been so hard on myself on some things, and like, I think I would have done a few things a little different if I would have been told that advice, because when you see people have it figured out around you, or you think that they do, that you're like, well,
Yeah,
fuck.
but
No one does, though.
nobody.
No one does. I mean, shit. We're 32 goddamn years old, and parents don't even have it all the way figured out. Like, no, I don't
But you
think
never
anyone
do that.
ever. No, I don't think anyone ever has it figured out. Their entire
I-
life, it's always a growing, constant, puzzle. And so I just wish that was told to me. I mean, I think it would have just made some things. I think if I had to choose a date or a time, I'd have probably told it to 20-year-old self, 22, right around that age, because then you just feel lost. You're like, well, fuck, I don't have it figured out. I don't have like a great job, dropping out of school, whatever. You're just like, man, I'm just so lost in life, and I don't know where I'm going.
The best thing about it is like you are about to go down a path that is going to be so you're going to realize a lot about yourself, and you're going to realize a lot about your upbringing, just because you can't separate the two. Like you're going to view the way that you parent compared to how you were parented, and it's going to be unavoidable. You're naturally just going to see it that way, and you're going to realize things about your dad that you never could possibly see until you went through this little spot yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like acting just like him.
not only that, but just like an appreciation, and just like you'll see it. Like you'll understand, because I didn't even know this shit happened until I was parenting, and then I tried to make like a timeline of how old I was and what he was going through. It's like, damn, you went through that and you never said a damn word.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
here I am going through a similar situation, talking to you about, parenting advice, and you already did it, and you nailed it, and you did it in a way that I thought you had all the answers, and you didn't. You just fucking winged it, and you figured it out. Now here I am coming to you for advice, because you're the hero. You're the smartest man I know, but inside you're probably dealing with the most fucked up emotions of just trying to figure it out yourself. But you never let me see that.
Yeah.
You had it figured out. But
Yeah.
it's cool because you've got a different mindset. Like,
Yeah.
you're a little bit older going into your first kid. So you've had a lot of time to explore these options and mature. That
Yeah.
a lot of younger parents, I mean, I had Braden when I was 20, 23.
Yes.
Yeah. So imagine you had your kid 9
Braden's
years
turning
ago.
9, right?
Yeah, he's turning 9 this week.
Yeah,
No,
Tommy turned 9. Tommy turned 9 last Monday.
Yeah, I mean, 9 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
picture 9 years old. You're in what, 3rd grade? Like,
Yep.
you had a lot of thoughts and shit going on. Now, just
Yeah.
picture where you're at 9 years ago, and you had a kid, Brad. Like,
Well, I mean, that was tough. I mean, I wasn't put in that situation. I was hopping around the bar quite a bit. So
yeah, I mean, just picture the maturity difference between then and now.
believe me, I know. I've reflected a lot on the past and shit. I give my dad so much respect. I mean, he had my sister when he was 19. He had me when he was 22. I mean, that's a tough for a young kid, to be put through that, and then to just buckle down and just always do the right thing and always be there for your kid, and how much he was involved in my life, and like all the sports, and he would be tired and he would still play catch with me every day after work.
It's because he was young.
Yeah. And
You get
that's
tired in your 30s.
yeah. I mean, that might be something I might have to push through the pain, but I see a lot of this shit, and I'm just like, man, it's it's something you just got to kind of give a lot of respect to, just doing the right moment, being there, and just for how young you are, like you're saying, the maturity level, and not every parent's the best or always does the right thing, but I mean, I think I turned out pretty pretty good dude. So I mean, he had to do a lot of things right, and I know I had to learn along my way. But I mean, I know he instilled a lot of values in me that stuck with me. So I'm super grateful for that, and that is one thing I will carry on. And I'm sure we'll parent a little bit different, but I'm sure I'm gonna do a lot of the same shit because I mean it worked.
Yeah, but that's the parent's biggest goal is to not have to have your kids sacrifice as much as you did. So your dad had you at a young age. He had to sacrifice a lot of his youth, a lot of his fun times, all that stuff, and you still turned out good. You got to experience all that. So you got to experience that. He didn't in the same sense. So now give it, pay it forward to your kid.
Well, let me hit you with this quote real quick. I don't know who said it, but Joe Rogan said it. He said, "Show me a great man who's the son of a great man." He said it's not super common because the only reason I can guess that is because people are, less hard on their kid or whatever. They didn't have to go through much shit. They didn't have to fail as many times as they did. They didn't have to get back up or, whatever. So I think it's going to be a hard line and a hard balance to follow to figure that part out. And I'm as weird as it may sound, I'm like mentally preparing myself to be hard on my kid. And as much as I don't want to, and I don't know the future, but like, if my dad wasn't hard on me, I wouldn't be near the man I am today, and I wouldn't be, I wouldn't have gone through as many struggles, and I wouldn't have pushed myself so hard and kept the shit with me throughout, even now. Like I feel like a lot of my drive and shit was instilled in me because I was pushed so hard and stuff. And I mean, I might not be as hard on certain situations and stuff, but like if it wasn't pushed so hard, I don't think that would be instilled in me to like push to this day. And I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but like that's one thing I'm like really trying to mentally prepare myself to not be like an asshole, but like just be tough because the world's fucking tough, man. Like it's not easy. I mean, I've been beat down, fucking broken so many goddamn times in my life that it fucking sucks, man. And it'll kick your ass.
Don't be afraid to be soft with your kid, though.
Well, yeah. I don't think that I'm gonna have a problem with that. Like I'm not even worried about that part.
There's gonna be moments where the first instinct is to be, teach you a lesson. This is gonna be hard. But, I mean, allow both of you, your kid and you, to kind of be soft with each other because they need that too.
Yeah, and
that you can't just have that come from mom's side because then it's going to be a different parenting. Like it's going to be just go to mom for that. Just go to mom for that, and you're going to turn into the militant dad who is trying to instill a lesson. Yeah. You have good intentions, but they need that as well. Yeah, and it's also 100%. Very rewarding to have that too.
100%, and I don't think I'm gonna struggle. I feel like I'm a very loving person. I give props where it's due, and I don't know that's not too much of my mind. I just feel like sometimes I might be like it's okay, because I love coaching, football or, the kids and teaching them. But sometimes I'm like, man, dude, sometimes you're a little too soft on some kids. I'm like, fuck, I might have would have whooped my ass if I'd have been, But so I'm not too worried about that part. But I'm trying to get in that mindset. Also, that now that you bring that up, that's one conversation that I've tried to have with my wife is like I'm afraid like she will baby my kid too much, and that I will have to be the disciplined, tough parent. I don't want to be that all the time. I don't want to have to be the bad guy all the time. So I'm trying to have these conversations beforehand, like, hey, you have to be tough and discipline them. I can't be the only one. Otherwise, I'm going to be the shit parent and I'm going to not enjoy it and, not be where I want to be or not be the parent I want to be. So I'm trying to combat that now and to be determined, but
don't overcompensate though.
No, and I'm not, but I don't want to have to be put in that spot is what I guess I'm trying to combat right now.
But if you find yourself in that spot, don't feel like you have to make up for being soft with you being,
harsh.
an ass. Like, don't feel like your kid's getting too soft, so you have to toughen her up.
Yeah.
Because that's only dividing it more, because that's letting her parenting way win without you guys communicating on how to parent together. Then it's going to turn her into the softy hero and you into the asshole when you had a common goal.
Yeah. And so I've actually thought about that a little bit, right? So I think more what I think I would do is, as shitty as it sounds, like I don't know if I'd go down that road. I think I'd put more of like, it would be more of like my team, her team. And I don't want it to be that way. Like I think I would parent the same way, like, like, hey, I'm gonna discipline you when you need to, and I'm gonna be there for you when you need to, and I'm gonna give you hugs, tell you I fucking love you, and all that shit. I don't think that would change. I just think it would change more of like me against her type of shit. Like I'm, hey, don't listen to her. Don't listen to that shit. Listen to me.
Well, the funny thing,
you know what I mean? And I don't want that.
It's gonna happen. There's gonna be a don't tell mom. There's gonna be a don't tell dad.
Well, yeah.
Unspoken thing of it, but you guys have to come together and figure that shit out as a foundation.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do now. Is before we get to that point. I mean, I'm trying best I can, but I know there's gonna be that regardless. But I'm just talking about like strictly like team. My team, her team, sort of shit. Like, you
guys are talking about this on game film. Wait until you get in the game. That's when it'll really happen. I'm a
gamer, buddy.
I know, but she ain't.
I know. I know, man.
You guys will have to figure it out. You can talk as much as you like, and
talks.
Exactly. You can set it up, but at the same time, she ain't got that Peyton Manning forehead like you do.
Oh well, big brains. Okay. It's. I mean, I know it is. I know it. It's gonna be what it is, and I'm just gonna. I don't know, do my best and try to be in the moment best I can, and just try to raise my kid the best I know how to raise him, and that's kind of all there is to it. I know, there's all ifs, ands, buts. We could probably talk in circles about how much this, that, and all these different scenarios, but I think what it kind of boils down to, and and that's just from me learning from other people who've done it before me. Like my dad or you guys. Or, other people around me. Yeah. I'm just studying and learning much as I can. And that's kind of what I've learned is just do the best you fucking can. Because you can't control, you can only control what you can't control. And that's all you got is just be the best you can be.
Do you feel like you've done a good job with that, Steve?
With
having like same parenting goals from the get-go compared to now? I mean, your kid 9 years old now.
Yeah.
Like,
in a lot of ways, we've stayed on the same page. And I think it comes down to there's certain situations where she lets me take the lead and I let her take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, then there's been things that we don't agree on and we find out that we don't agree on it in the situation, and then
that's gotta
we
be
kind of
tough.
have to hash it out, you know.
Yeah, and that's coming from a dual parent household. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, think of like split parents. That's
yeah.
got to be even
I
tougher
can't
to be
even.
on the same page.
Can't even
I'm doing
I
both, bro.
yeah.
Because then
Yeah.
you know,
No,
like
that.
P, your situation. Excuse me, your situation a little bit like you know, you gotta have baby mama and
Mm-hmm.
her husband, and then you,
Mhm.
your wife.
You got parenting styles.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that pulls in a whole new ball game.
You're telling me. Are you
You
kidding me? I'm fucking Peyton Manning helmet over here.
Oh yeah.
I gotta study 2 playbooks.
Oh yeah, with audibles on deck.
Oh yeah. I got,
But
and they're both about to turn 9.
well, let me ask you this, man. Does it make it easier that you grew up in a split household to deal with that?
No.
Mm.
No? Doesn't help?
No,
There's
not at
nothing
all,
you could
because
elaborate on that. Like, there's nothing you could, I don't know, learned or like, even like things you went through that you're like, I don't want to do that.
I would say no, just because my dad never remarried, so I didn't have a second mom to deal with. I had a second dad to deal with, but I didn't take those lessons to heart compared to, like, because my dad is my dad.
Yeah.
And just because of my stepdad situation, I never viewed him as a father. So I always had just one mom, one dad. And in my kid situation is very opposite. I will say that I did make a point to be there as a dad, even though I wasn't necessarily the stepdad role, but I knew the importance of a father. So I made myself a father for 2 kids that my son, my biological son, I don't get to see him as much as his stepdad does. But I knew the role of having a dad. So I made sure that I was concrete his father. And then my daughter, I knew how important it was to have a father in her role. So I'm a father in 2 separate situations with 2 separate upbringings, 2 separate set of rules. But I have to keep track of and one's a girl and one, Jesus Christ. That's hard enough. One
Yeah.
boy, one girl. And then to have one boy with a different set of rules, and you have to appreciate that set of rules at the house that he's at most of the time, with his mom, who's a softie, and his stepdad, who's not a softie, but he's not a hardy. So, and then I have a girl on this end who I have to tiptoe around because I don't want to be an asshole and have her hate me. So it's pretty hard. But back to the original question. In a way, but I don't view that as like a way of dictating how I'm parenting. Like I don't think I'm more,
You know what? Sorry, cut out a little bit at the end.
I don't think the split parent
Like helped out.
factor. I don't think it. I mean, I don't view it as like a big factor on how I parent, which is weird because
Yeah.
like I take it to heart and I learn a lot, but my situation's pretty unique. I kind of had to learn that one on my own.
Yeah, I mean, we actually got similar situations, oddly enough.
God
I mean,
damn.
you know, uh, moms weren't really in our lives.
Mm.
Dad. I don't know. I had a girlfriend, whatever, like kind of in the role, but tough situation. You don't really look at them as like a mom type thing.
Mm.
They got their own kids. They treat you a little different. Like it just, it is what it is.
They
So
were
it is.
there.
Yeah, they're there, and they'll be a parentish to you, and they'll take care of you and stuff. But like, it's not like the same like type of love or anything like you would expect. Like your dad gave you or anything, right?
Mm.
Not even close. So, and I mean, it's even to this day, like it's still, it's just a little different, but it is what it is. I mean, everyone goes through different shit. Um, I don't, I don't know. I've actually thought about this a little bit, like the differences, that it would be to grow up in a, two parent background and or even parent in a two, parent your kid is
Yeah.
together. How that would differ from the each one compared to the other one. And I don't know, the more I think about it, I mean, you're gonna run into tough situations regardless. You know, I don't know if one trumps the other or one's harder than the other. You know, I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, it's got to do the best you can, and hopefully your kid turns out good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the shitty thing is I could be making all the wrong fucking moves, and I won't know for 10, 15, 20 years.
Mm.
Yeah, how
Could be
crazy
a
is that?
bag and think I'm doing awesome, and I have no idea.
Yeah,
The sad thing is that they'll probably hold on to it without you knowing until the situation comes out that they decide to tell you about it. Like they've reached
Yeah.
their limit and they feel like they became this way because of you. It's like, well, shit. I thought I
yeah,
was doing good.
Yeah.
yeah. But I
But
mean, how many? I mean, the parents that are always around, how much you respect them? I think they did a great
yeah.
job. I mean, regardless of their flaws. I mean, I think that goes for majority, not all, but I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know. See, here's the thing, guys. So I think about, my mind races sometimes, and I'll think about this stuff. So I am who I am because of the struggles I went through and all the
Mm.
fucking shitty times and whatever. And and you look at some people who never had to go through that, and you just look at them and you're like, man, I'm, maybe not like better than you, but like I feel like I'm a better person than some people who got a lot of shit handed to them and had a lot of easy stuff, and maybe maybe they deal with more internal battles or they're more depressed or they struggle more in life because they haven't been through shit and it's harder for them at a later age maybe, you know but like that being said, so I think as me spitballing here, like I think like all of the mistakes you may make as a parent and you may go through, or maybe you think you're doing everything right, like you're saying you did it wrong. Like they're only going to grow from that though, and they're only going to turn into their own person and be probably fall and get back up and
Hmm.
probably be better for it. I mean, as long as you can teach them or be there for them to get back up, or teach them to get themselves fucking back up. And because I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through all the fucking dog shit I went through. And there's people who never had to go through any of that shit. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't testify that I'm a better person, but like I think like some people I'm just like, man, get it the fuck together. Like, what are you doing? You're gonna have to go through shit, and you're gonna hand everything, and you're just like, oh well, I'm sad because of this, or my life sucks because of that. And I'm like, that ain't shit. Try going through some real shit. I just think it teaches you to be resilient. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like, mistakes you make, maybe it makes them a better person in the long run.
That's also taking your life story and your upbringing and kind of maneuvering it into a way that made you become you.
Yeah.
Had your parents stayed together, circumstances changed. Does that mean that you were not going to be the same person? Could you've ended up the same person?
No.
By not going through that? But are you a lesser person? Would you have became a lesser person for it?
Probably.
Really?
I think so.
See, and that's
so
what
let me
I'm saying.
elaborate a little bit on that. So, wait, you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I feel like that's a way of justifying the way that your upbringing and the person you became. I feel like that's your concrete. I became this because of these situations. So you're essentially saying this is the best version of you that you could be. If
No.
circumstances were different, you would have became someone else, but a lesser version of yourself. So I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, you're taking what happened in your life and you made the most of it. But for people that didn't have that in their life, it's like shackling them to say that they can't become what you became because of what you've been through.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I guess let me clarify a little bit. So I guess what I mean by that is, so I mean, you can just look at the history of the world and look at people who've had an easy ride and what they became, and people who've had to rise up from the bottom and what they became.
Yeah.
And that's not there for every scenario, no. And I don't know if I would have became a lesser person, but I guess when you go through a bunch of shit and you're beat down so many times and all this, like, you realize some things. You learn how to pick yourself back up, and you learn like this ain't so bad, and like things will get better. I mean, fuck, guys, I've been like broken so many times. Like, I speak to you guys as like a broken man. I feel like put back together, like a mirror just shattered. And then, you pick up all the fucking pieces and you figure it out. And if you walk around with like a perfect mirror all the time and just, think your shit doesn't stink, or, like it's just better than everyone. Oh, look at my pretty reflection. That you don't learn as many things. You can't look at the world for what it is, and you just think like it's easy. And it's almost like a privilege, sort of like a mindset. And I don't feel like that gives you any drive to do anything great, or to push yourself, or to put yourself in a better position in life. Because you're like, oh, it's okay. Well, I got a trust fund, or I got parents who will just kick me all this money. And again, it's not like every situation, but I feel like if you don't go through shit, like if everything was just handed to me and I didn't have to work hard for anything, and I didn't have to like put myself through a bunch of shit, or figure shit out myself, or figure out how fucking shit works. If everyone just did everything for me, I would have never grown as a person. And I don't feel like I would have become the person I am, or even close to where I am today. I wouldn't have, been able to put myself in other people's shoes, or to think outside the box. I would have just expected so many things rather than work hard for them. And I guess that's where I come from when I say that.
Well, I mean, I totally understand that. I think about that with with if I would have taken over the office or the business side of DC when we had 52 employees versus me taking it over at 10,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. How much different would that be?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't understand any of it. I wouldn't understand
It was
what
just
it takes.
handed to you, right? Yeah.
Get it? Yeah, no, I mean, the way that I've been, I mean, there's people that have said that I, had it all handed to me, the business and whatnot, and I tell them no, I fucking took it,
Yeah.
you know.
But that's a drive.
I
I
didn't
can
take
just
it.
tell
I
by the
didn't.
way you
I
say
mean,
it.
it's not that it's and it's not just me alone. Obviously, there's multiple other partners, and they all have done their part to take it as well.
Right.
But if we would have been put in this situation where we already had the base that we had, like we had a solid foundation at DC when I took over, but if we would have had what we have now, the 35 trucks, the 50 people, the amount of work, I would expect it.
Yeah.
I would constantly expect it.
Exactly.
Oh, we don't need to chase this job. Go do this. Go. I don't need to work this Saturday because it's going to come. It'll always just come.
All right. So with that, exactly what you said. Now just picture you have your same mindset, and now you're coming into the situation with the same business where it's at, amount of trucks, everything is exactly the same as it is now. And now you're coming in position.
Yeah,
Would that make you want to like elevate it
well,
more? Or
me.
I don't
I
think you'd
mean,
have that mindset though.
no, well,
But we can go on your scenario though.
I always felt that I would be pretty driven in the career aspect, no matter what I did,
Yeah.
because that was the number one thing that was instilled in me growing up is you work to take care of your family, right?
Yeah.
And my family has always found fulfillment in their career, and so it was natural for me to look for that. So I think I would have had the drive still, but I wouldn't understand how to apply it.
Yeah.
Right?
So like your
yeah,
employees and
Yeah.
growth.
Like I said, I would expect these things to just come because they were already there.
Yeah.
it helps you relate more.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just it is I don't know that I would have wanted it. I would have wanted to be in the spot that I got put in. I mean, I never really did, in a way. But I don't think I would have wanted to step into that role because I mean, I was 21, so step in that role as a 21-year-old with 51 other people.
Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah.
I don't have done. I wouldn't have. I mean,
You'd be overwhelmed and
yeah, I would have. Eventually, I'm sure I would have stopped drowning for a moment to figure out how to swim. But
yeah. You might
So
have
let's just
maybe
say,
you might have maybe sat in the office. I know I know your backstory and stuff. Like I
it's the
guess
exact same. It's the exact same thing with you, Brad. And to your point, Josh, it's a justification of what you went through to understand where you're at.
yeah.
I don't think it's really a justification. I think it's just a reflection.
Right.
so let's say your son's about to fill your shoes now, like 20 years, and you've went through your hardships to build this up, and Tommy's going to take over.
See, so my plan with Tommy is he's going to start at the bottom.
I like it.
He
I think
will
you have
come
to.
in
I like it.
sweep the shop. He'll clean the offices. He'll strip wire. He'll whatever.
That's
If
parenting
he
right there,
wants,
Brad.
if he wants to do it, if he enjoys the environment, enjoys what we do, once he understands what we do a little bit more, then great. I'll put him where he needs to be. And if that's in the office, awesome. If it's in the field, awesome.
Yeah.
But what I want for Tommy, and this is something that you said earlier, that dads, always want for their kid not to have to make the sacrifices they did. In a way, I want Tommy to make the same sacrifices that I do. I want him to find something. I want him to find something that is worth making the sacrifices for him.
Nice.
And yeah, that might be family. That might be,
Yeah.
For me, it's family in a roundabout way. It's my family and my extended family and my employee family. But if it's a drawing, if it's cars, if it's whatever it may be, but if he's willing to make the same sacrifices that I did,
I nailed it.
that's what I want him to do.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you did, Steve. Bravo, man. Couldn't have said it any better. I mean, that's I think the same way, man. I don't feel like I feel like entitlement is the worst thing that could be handed or could be like instilled in a kid. And if you instill that, I think you're just crippling the child. Like to feel like like if you're just like, hey Tommy, I'm just gonna hand you all this stuff, so get ready. Like I feel he would be overwhelmed. He would probably drop the ball. He might even want to do it. I mean, I feel like the same way if that happened to you. I mean, if you were just, in your parents' basement, and they're like, see, well, when you turn 30, 32, then we're going to hand you the business, so get ready. You wouldn't be fucking ready at all. You'd be like, oh, well, fuck.
Well,
You think of it as like a chore, right? You think of it as like a chore, like, I have to do this, rather than being fucking grateful. And like you started at a young age, and, everyone goes through different shit and whatnot, but like, that's great that like you were instilled so much drive and like to take over that shit. Cause there's a lot of people who just get handed shit, like I'm saying, like at 30 or 35 or 40, whatever. And they're just, they're miserable and they fucking drug addicts or whatever. Hunter Biden, fuck that guy.
Yep.
But
well, that's what I was kind of saying is like when you were talking about how people say that, oh, you just got handed it to you. I was like, that has to drive you nuts because of what you've actually been through to achieve what you've achieved. And all the growth and everything just kind of just gets forgotten in their narrow-minded aspect way that they think of it.
But that's why, the real ones.
That's kind of where I was going with the whole point of like, think of where it is now, and then Tommy has the opportunity, and you had the perfect answer where you're just like, well, I'm going to make him start sweeping the shop because you're making him earn that sense of, hey, you want to be a part of this? I'm not giving it to you. You're going to get a feel of what it is, of what this means, because you can't just get handed it. Because right now, if I were to hand it to you, it just means money. You need to understand the meaning of what we're doing.
That's what I did the first few years. Is I had to. I mean, my whole job was stripping wire, organizing the shop, and then when Dad needed help digging trenches, I went out and dug trenches.
But the people that are saying that bullshit about you that you got handed to it don't know that part.
And he paid me out of the S&C Farms account as family labor, and family labor on agricultural in Idaho, minimum wage doesn't exist. So I was getting less wage.
You have the record for the lowest wage paid in Idaho.
Until I got
non-existent.
Until I became a registered apprentice, I was making less than it was about $5 an hour.
Had a boy.
Yeah, man. But you got to though. You got to start. I mean,
Yeah.
if you didn't like, if you just gave Tommy the stuff, like if you just gave him like a higher role, and you have to earn it. There's such a big like lesson in life that you have to learn, and there's no other way to learn it than just doing it and experiencing the shit.
Yep.
Starting at the bottom. I think that's great, and that's a great way to do it. I mean, shit, man.
I got a great opportunity. I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I got.
Yeah, man, and that's you
Yeah,
got to take it.
The first, I didn't take it for what it was. I fucked around. I didn't take it serious, and then one day it clicked.
Yeah, man, and that's and that's such a. I just want to point out that's such a hard thing to do because and I was 21 and 22. I was fucking partying at the bar and I was fucking being a bartender. I didn't have it all figured out, and
I know.
and everyone travels different paths in life and stuff, and everyone figures it out. But like, it's a. I just want everyone to know like it's a different mindset, a different like thing, like to just like, hey, I'm gonna do this shit and I'm gonna fucking try to, do the best I can and make myself proud, my family proud, and take over the business or try to at such a young age. Like that's, not what a lot of people do, especially in like, a situation like that where it is in grasp. A lot of people just wait for it to be handed to them.
Yeah, no. If I would have waited for that, I'd still be waiting.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think people need to learn from like this message is like you have to go and get it in life. You have to go out and fucking hustle. And maybe, maybe it's not when you're 21. Maybe it's when you're 28 or 30 or whatever. Like sooner or later, whenever you figure it out or at least you have like an idea, you got to go get it. And you got to fucking bust your fucking ass. There's no easy route in life. There never is. Might as well just fucking go through the hard shit so maybe it's easier when you get a little older.
Yeah, no. For me, I mean, it was no one ever was going to outwork my dad. He was always the one going in, always the one putting in the work.
I mean, he's still out there.
Yeah,
he could sit back and fucking relax if he wanted to, but he's still out there. I mean, you got to give the man credit.
That's my philosophy. I mean, I try my damnedest to be the first one there every day. I try,
Yeah.
I put in. I'm gonna work harder than everybody else, and I don't mean that I don't think everybody else works hard, but
it's that mindset though. That's like Kobe mindset.
When it comes to our competitors and stuff, there's a reason that during COVID we went from 34 people. Since COVID, we've went from 34 to 52.
I appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the drive to be the biggest, the baddest. That's what I was telling you, like to to preach that to everyone because
that's what it is.
I really truly believe, Steve, like if all of DC is on that same like wavelength as you, like that same mindset, like, hey, let's be the biggest, baddest fucking company around. Let's cook everyone else's ass. Let's show them who's fucking boss, and let's really buy into it. I think it'd be more like a culture that you build, and I think that's from what I understand in my fucking 32 years is that's what builds like a great business is like that culture that that shit that you're like, hey, we're good.
Of it all the time. There's glimpses of it. There's it's within sight, I feel.
I think it starts from the top down though. I mean, as long as everyone else is, preaching that too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's get it going. Like, hey, we're the best.
You see, I mean, that's why Randy and I are so close. I mean, and Trevor has that same mentality a lot as well. That I think that's why we are on our way to that, because the three of us together really do. I feel embody that a lot.
Yeah, I
You know,
think you're right, and
I
with
mean, what they do, the travel that they put in, the
the example they set.
yeah, the example. And so just like being a dad, being a leader, that's all you're doing is leading your kids.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna do their own thing,
Yep.
but
For Steve bringing it back, tying it in. Love it.
yeah, oh boy, it's like you've listened to a podcast or two.
One or two.
But yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's I think it's what you need. I think it's what everyone needs, and that's honestly, bro. I love this shit, and this is why I love doing this podcast. Is like just sending this message, like if just people listen to it and just take the message in, like how much people can learn from people who have been through the shit and done the shit, and like just soak it up. Like you will learn so much from this shit. Cause I really am a true believer in like you better pass all the information you can down, because you can't fucking take it with you when you die.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And like just seeing it help people is so fulfilling too, or to see growth in people and shit is just so rewarding. So yeah, I love it. One of my favorite things.
I like my wife listens to it, and like she'll tune in, and I'll be kind of listening in the background as well. And certain things that I'll say I forgot I said, but I was like,
Yeah, makes fucking sense.
yeah, it makes sense. It's like I
Yeah.
said that.
Pretty smart guy said that.
But it's like little things that I necessarily haven't said to her directly, but you just kind of have to get it out there, and then
Yeah.
it's just like an out of body experience. Listen to yourself. It's just like, well, I did say that, and that is exactly how I feel.
Yeah. How crazy is that though? But
Not bad.
I think that like it tests like, who you are or what you actually think, or your beliefs. Because people can tell you that you're like, oh yeah, 100%. Like, no, you said that. Well, naturally.
That's why I write it down for me. That's why I journal so much and shit, so that I get all that. I can figure that out, and so I know where I'm at and where I need to go next.
Yeah, that's
Get
one
it
thing.
out.
Yeah,
Where does it? Nowhere. It
that's
doesn't necessarily need to go to anybody. It just needs to go somewhere.
right.
Read it, see it.
And look back on it, and
Yep.
It's just the discipline to actually write it down.
Well,
yeah.
I got quite a few different ones that I do every day.
Yeah, and see, I write some shit down. I know you write a million times things, but that's kind of why, I don't know. I guess maybe it's an easier route. I don't know, but that's why I like talking on camera, like just recording it. I mean, it's like writing it down, but video form. You can go listen to it later. I'll go listen back to plenty of things that I've said or whatever, and be like, because you can learn so much from just listening to things you say, or the situation you're in. And like, man, I don't know, that could have been different, or man, maybe maybe I'll think twice about what I said, or learn from what you said. So that is a cool thing about doing the podcast. But I, writing shit down, I've heard nothing but great things. I mean, you've even told me, Steve, like you write shit down and sometimes you just burn it just to get it out in the open and just have it out there, like a release sort of thing.
Yeah. Situations that I can't get over, that constantly come back, like that I'm like an employee leaves and I don't understand it, right?
Is that
Or I'm
because it
angry.
weighs on you a lot?
Yeah, it's because if I don't understand it, then I can't let it go. And if I can't let it go, then I can't move forward with the next problem because, yeah, somebody might leave. I might lose a job. I might lose a customer.
Yeah. Like a
But
closure type thing?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
A type of closure, a way to put it back to the ashes where we come from, right?
Yeah. And
And so,
where'd you learn that from?
well, so President Eisenhower, he used to write shit down and crumple it up and put it in his bottom desk drawer.
Okay.
He'd get mad at somebody and write it down and crumple it up and put it in there, and then his secretary would come and clean it out. But uh, some Stoic philosophy classes is where I got that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I noticed that's one thing me and you have in common is like to learn from, I don't know, people who've done it or people who've done like great things, or because
yeah,
there's no better teacher than history. I mean, that's whether your own history or other people.
yeah, exactly.
So might as well fucking learn from them, because if they've done great things, they probably know some shit.
Probably been through some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Been through a lot of shit. Swam through some shit. Got out of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Full of shit. Nah.
Well, then you can't get past that shit. You can't move forward. You can't advance. So deal with the shit. You can't just leave it in the drawer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's always going to be there, and it's always going to be there. But if it's not there
No,
anymore,
that's the thing is with Eisenhower, his secretary would come every day and clean out his drawer. So once he crumpled it up and threw it away, it was gone.
mm-hmm.
It was gone to him.
Yeah.
Like Abraham Lincoln, he would write letters to who he was upset with and not send them, but he'd get it out.
He got it out. Yeah, exactly. He got it out and he got it past him.
Mm-hmm.
But if he left it there to where you could go back and reread them, they would still be there.
Yep, and I mean that's what I have to do, because, like I said, there's always, if I'm hung up on somebody that's not even there anymore, or a customer that's not there anymore, or a job that we missed out on, then I can't take care of the next thing, the next person that comes along, current employee or a current person's problem, or my wife's, a family problem, or a new couple that might come along. It's just
I was gonna say,
if you aren't letting it go and moving past it and progressing, moving forward, then you can't take care of what you have now, and what you're not leaving room for what might happen next.
yeah, the next best thing might not come.
Yeah.
Because you're not ready. So let me ask you this, Steve. Do you write down stuff to forgive yourself, or to, along those type of lines?
No, I more remind myself what I need to do better.
But do you never let go of that stuff?
No, because I mean, if it's something that I like you mean like forgive a mistake of myself?
Yeah, like
If I make a mistake, there's certain things that are hard to let go of, but if I make a mistake with say the way I handle a situation with one of the employees, or in a customer setting, or even with family.
family shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the situation, it's hard to let go, but you have to let that go. And I don't feel like I use my journals and stuff to to remind myself of what I need to let go, like that way, as far as my personal mistakes.
Do you think it'd be beneficial though? Because I know you were
Oh,
saying like,
I think so,
like,
but I think for me, I just know that I'm gonna make mistakes, so I understand what I did, and I'll write like what I would do differently next time,
okay, so
so that I
you do
learn from
write a
it.
little bit. Okay,
Yeah, but I don't like, hey, it's okay that you did this. Like I don't do that. I don't. Hey, it's you made a mistake. It's okay. Like for me, it's like, hey, this happened. Why did it happen?
yeah,
What did you do to cause this?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like one thing that I'm always told is that I take like everything way too hard on myself. But to me, it's because everything that happens around me is probably in some way to do with something that I did to
Yeah.
cause that. Like
yeah,
It
if
allows you to
Frankie
connect the
and I
dots.
yeah, if Frankie and I get in a fight, well, there was probably a part of that was my fucking fault.
yeah. More than
What,
likely,
what
More than
did I,
likely.
you know?
yeah. At least a part, yeah,
Yeah, what part did I play in this situation? You know, an employee leaves disgruntledly. What did I do to this guy to because we saw it totally different. So what did I do to this guy to make him see it that way? So that the next time this situation happens, I can go, okay, well maybe this guy's seeing it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing it because I'm only looking through this. So for me, I use it to find other perceptions.
Yeah, and that's all you can do. That's learning from experiences, and that's where you have to go through the hard times to better yourself. And
exactly.
unfortunately, you do have to go through those hard times, which ties into you're raising a kid, Brad. Like I just feel like absolutely, everyone's gonna go through the hard times, and you have to allow that shit to happen. And as that happens, you have to realize that it's going to happen, and you can't beat yourself up over and over for it because this is just your building block. You're gonna go through another one. You're gonna add another, but that's gonna help the next hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's a constant learning experience, and
oh,
it's never over.
100%, never is. But so, Steve, let me rewind just a smidge. So, everything you said, I agree with 100%. My question is, so what if you combine those with everything you're doing, and then forgiving yourself for doing that? I mean, you can remind yourself and learn from your mistakes, but I know, a lot of people in life, myself included, like sometimes you hold on to things or you're just like, man, I did this shit. And people never forgive themselves for it, even though you learn from it, but like it affects you so much if you don't forgive yourself and you don't move on
Well,
from it in life.
that I would take the burning trick.
Okay.
I would write out what you need to forgive yourself for and get it all out, whatever it is. And then the way that I do it is I have a fire pit out in the backyard, right?
Yeah.
Little on the one on my patio. I write out the shit that I got going on, and then I go and I light a corner of it, and I set it right in the middle of the fire pit, and I watch it all drift away.
Yeah. It
And
sounds healing. I mean,
to me, it it's gone. I mean, it doesn't always catch on the first time, right? You
yeah.
still might have to go back and do it again,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like uh, you know, getting dumped
Yeah.
It
each
always
time you
sucks.
move on. Each you're sad for a couple days, and then you go and fucking rub one out, and you feel
Yeah.
better. You know? Each time you do that, each time
the first rub out.
you make a move on a girl, whatever, you take the next steps to move forward. It hurts a little less.
Yep.
So to me, I mean, it's kind of like you're trying to give yourself a clean slate.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So I got a weird question. So excuse me. I've I don't know. I never really thought of this or anything, but I did it. I don't know, say a month maybe. Done it a couple times, and it's weird to kind of do. But I walked in the bathroom. I looked myself in the mirror, and I told myself, like, I love you. And and I just had like a weird talk with myself, like I know all the shitty shit about you. I'm you. Like, I know all your shit. And
You can't lie to me.
Yeah, you can't lie to me. I know all of it. You can't, there's nothing you can, like, it's just it's kind of a weird thing, but like, it's, I felt so good afterwards. Like, just knowing, like, you can look at your fucking self in the mirror and just be like, hey man, it's me and you. Like, we're the only ones here all the time. Like, you got friends, you got family, but it's 24/7 with yourself. And so, if you don't love yourself, or you kind of, 80%, and you're like, well, fuck, man, you do this and, whatever, short of shame or whatever type shit. Like, I don't know if you guys haven't done it, I would recommend trying it. It's kind of weird to do, but if you just like push through the awkwardness, it's actually very, very good and like healing. Like, I just talked to myself. I was like, man, I love you. Like, you're good, dude. You got a big heart. You try to do the right thing. You make mistakes. You haven't always done the fucking right thing, but you learn from it. And, you always try to be a better person. Like, just talk to yourself. Like, just looking yourself in the eyes. And it's a weird healing type shit.
I've definitely done it, and it eliminates the bullshit.
Weird, huh? Yeah.
And the
perspective
of the perspective of like what you think of yourself and what you justify what you've done and who you're trying to impress or who you're trying to fool, lies you tell yourself. When you look yourself in the mirror, and it's like, you're lying to you.
Yeah.
So stop lying. So then you just talk. You literally just talk it out with
yourself.
I know that moment you're talking about, because I've literally had that, and it's like it'll
it's
kind
like
of
a freeing moment.
It'll kind of like break you down and just be like, all right, you caught me.
Yeah.
And so what am I doing about this? And fix it, because it's just bullshit. You're bullshitting yourself.
Yeah. And it's
it's pretty damn. I mean, it's a pretty damn cool moment. It also sucks.
It sucks.
That moment does suck, because then you realize a lot about yourself on the shit that you've like, oh my God, I have been just, this is what I am trying to make others perceive me. Just fake this, and try and get away with it. But when it just becomes you and you in the mirror, it's you can't lie.
Oh, there's no bullshit.
It's impossible, because you know it. Like, it's like you're a human lie detector against yourself.
Yeah.
But then it makes you fix it.
Yeah. Like, just like you were saying before, like, you can't bullshit yourself. You already know everything you've ever done. You can't be like, no, I didn't do that. No, you did. And like, it makes you accept things. But if you work through that, it makes you like be okay with those things. You're like, hey man, you make mistakes. Like, all you can do now is push forward and be a better person now. Like, you can't change anything. So, hey, let's go. Like, let's fucking make shit happen, and let's do whatever we fucking can. And you're literally just like looking yourself in your eyes this whole time. And it's like almost like peering in your soul. It's like a freeing moment. after you push through all the bullshit and you get past all this, like, hey, nah, no, you, nah, I fucking know, dude. And you just, and it's weird in the beginning, and you push through, and then you just come to a moment where you're like, yeah, man, like, I get it. You've done some shitty shit, but you're also a good fucking person, and you start naming off some things that that you've done or you're proud of, or after you name all your mistakes. So when you look at yourself, you're gonna name your mistakes because you feel guilt or whatever after you quit lying to yourself, and then you just hit a moment of clarity. Like, all right, well, what can we do? Okay, we can't change anything, so we can only move forward, make a difference, like be better. And like, I really truly feel though, like, if you don't look at yourself and tell you, like, hey man, like, if you don't love yourself, like, hey, I love you, like, all your flaws and everything, if you don't say that, or you can't say that to yourself, then you got a lot of shit to work on. But
you need to look in the mirror.
Like, once you hit that moment, it's just such a freeing moment that nice. But like, you can just move past so much shit and just be you and not worry about all the shit. You're just like, yeah, I get it, man. And again, man, if you haven't tried it, like, not just you, Steve, but like everyone out there listening, like, try it out. Like, it's such a weird moment, and it sounds fucking weird. Like, oh, I'm just gonna look in the mirror and tell myself, I love you. That's fucking weird, but like, literally, like, give it like a legit serious moment and just stare at yourself in the mirror.
A lot of bullshit to lead up to that.
But yeah.
That moment when you have that, when you are just beat down and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're having that moment, you just realize, like, Jesus, like,
that moment sucks.
You're an idiot. Yeah.
It sucks for a while. Like, it's a good, like, 20, 30 minutes in the mirror. Like, the first little bit, you're just like, Jesus Christ, dude.
And it's like out loud talking too.
Oh yeah.
It's not even just like in your mind talking. Fucking pathetic.
Like, yeah, you talk to yourself like out loud.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
I feel like there's the only way to do it though, either. The only way to do it is just do that.
A finger in the face, and it keeps getting closer, like, just to the mirror.
Like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're just like, man, you've been fucking up. You like, talk to yourself. And then,
but you do. And you look yourself directly in the eye.
Yeah. It's such a weird moment.
I can't stop looking at your shirt that just looks like it says "fuck off." Oh.
Fuck.
Oh, there we go.
Biden.
It says "fuck off." The J was blocked, and the bottom of the E was a little lower.
Oh yeah.
Or "fuck of."
Yeah. Good, yeah.
I just looked over a few times. So, you fuck off.
You fuck off.
In the mirror.
Yeah. It's backwards. It must be a mirror.
Tired of having this conversation with myself.
Yeah, but yeah, it's an experience I think everyone needs to have. And whether or not, you experience that when you're younger or when you're older, I'm sure it's not the only time you're going to have to talk to yourself or have that, thing. I feel like you should probably do it a decent amount. But, like,
yeah, for me, I've been the mirror, but
you should try it. You should fucking really try it, Stevie. It'll open up your eyes. It's weird.
For me, it's moments of solitude, right? Like, so you guys know I barbecue.
Yeah.
I cook brisket and shit, pork shoulders for 12, 14 hours, a lot of times by myself. And I started at like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And I don't listen to music, I just stand out there with the smoker by myself. And that's when I have those conversations with myself.
It's funny you say that.
When you're alone, you can't, there's no one there that you can bullshit. There's no one there that you can one up. There's no one there that
There's no hiding.
Yeah, that you can tell a story to, because
Yeah.
you can tell yourself the story, a story that's not true to yourself so much before you finally go, well, that's not the way it really happened. That that's not what you really did. What
Right.
you would really, right?
Yeah.
So finding those moments of solitude on a regular basis, I think, is that kind of same thing, that moment of just you understanding what's
Yep.
inside.
Yep.
And that's one of the main reasons I enjoy doing that, is because I get to have those moments and I understand myself better. And
Yeah.
I love cooking, but I
Yeah.
really understand myself better each time that I go through that solitary moment.
But it's such a small moment on cooking. Like,
Yeah.
Cooking is the small part of it.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the time that you have in your own thoughts.
It's building the fire. It's watching the fire. It's understanding that it's just me.
Yeah, with little distraction, it's you in your head. But
Yep.
So I've done that, and I've I think that's what am I trying to say?
Therapeutic.
Like, yeah, very therapeutic. Yeah, exactly. But I will say this though. I think it's a different conversation when you actually look at yourself in the mirror, eye to eye. Like you actually just see it. It's a little bit different because I love sometimes being in solitude. Like you get a lot of thinking done, and you process things really well. But it's a little bit different of a conversation when you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, "Hey, dude, I love
It's a
you."
physical aspect to it.
Yeah, it's just a little bit different, Steve. So I would definitely recommend it. Like just take like 30 minutes. No one around, no one can hear you.
Cook in the mirror.
Because you will talk to yourself out loud.
Yeah, do you got to be naked?
Well, not
No,
necessarily.
I wasn't.
If you really want to shame yourself, then go for it.
Oh yeah, we want to have a deeper. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
You really want to beat yourself up.
Oh yeah, you call that a penis? Jesus Christ.
Oh, come on. Might as well roast it. 14 hours. Little beanie weenie.
Yeah, so I mean that's maybe step 2, man. Start with close. Who's I am. I don't know. I'm still waiting on stuff. But on a serious note though, like it's a little bit of a different conversation. It's weird looking yourself in your eyes, like just and talking to you. It's literally like peering into your soul and like talking to your fucking soul. It's a weird fucking thing. Because I've been, in solitude and maybe not cooking, but like been in your car or, just had on a hill or like stared at the skyline or whatever, like some, cool shit and just, kind of like a peace moment and you process shit. And I think that's like one of the best fucking things to do, by the way.
I mean, like long periods of solitude, like so the steelhead fishing trip, right? So I'm in salmon for 4 days, no access to any outside influence, no phone, no radio, no. It's just you standing on a bank fishing for 10 hours by yourself.
Just clarity.
Okay. Well, now I'm curious though, Steve. Now you gotta at least like look in the mirror to tell me if there's a difference.
Yeah,
I'm curious now.
Right. Yeah.
Like literally, like take like 30 minutes and like really like just commit and be like, hey, and it's like you'll look at yourself and you'll like all the shit will just surface. All your flaws, all your things you've done, things you don't, you're not so like proud of. Like all surface, and you'll like really like just look at yourself, like, it's like a judgment sort of thing. Like, You know, there's no hiding. You can't bullshit. I don't know. I'm really curious though to see that, to hear back from that, because it's for me it was like it was a different type. I've never been in like multiple days of solitude or anything. You know, it's been more of like, 4 or 5 hours or whatever. You know, you process shit, roll, go back to life or whatever. But it was a different type of shit to like look myself in the mirror and just accept everything and be okay and just tell yourself like, love you, dude. Like, you're fucking good, man. Let's go and get it. Whatever happened here on out. Like, let's go. Let's make shit happen. Like, let's be the best person you could fucking be.
Or even to be pissed at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that'll happen. I was just talking about like the end. Because whatever time period in the beginning is that. I mean, it could take 30 minutes, could take an hour, could take 2 hours. Who knows? But like sooner or later, I think you'll get over like the shit that you're like, hey man, you fucked up. Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, you'll have weird conversations, and then after all of that, you'll get like a, clarity. Like, okay, well, you still love yourself. Like, there's nothing you can do. So what can you do? You can control what you can control. So I can control what the fuck I do, and I can try to be a better person and try to do all this shit. So I don't know. I'm actually a little curious now. So yeah, definitely. Definitely let me and P know. When you
For
do
sure.
that, because that's it's a cool thing, and one of the coolest things I've experienced like this year. I'm at a dip too, P. I'm losing my mind right now.
God damn, you're lucky, Steve, that you can chewing.
I'm about to go to Maverick right now and fucking give me a can. I'm fucking losing it.
About to make a drop off too, right?
Jeez.
7 years, boys. 7 years.
Damn.
7 fucking years, you lucky dog.
Me-
I'm like 7 minutes and I'm scratching my neck.
I used to chew before I used to put a chew in before I got in the shower in the morning.
Oh man, brush your teeth with tobacco.
I didn't. That was like an afterthought.
It really takes the edge off.
Fucking brushing my teeth was who needs to do that?
Yeah.
I got dip.
Yeah, I got to chew in.
Dip.
Talk about looking yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, no shit.
I need to have that conversation.
By the way, yeah, good stream, boys. Maybe we'll end it here.
Not bad for just
Good
bullshit.
Yes. Man, I'm calling it though, fellas.
Oh yeah.
Am I dropping off some chew?
All right, I'll see you.